Hello and welcome to Chabot News for April 25th, 2024. My name is Diana Osaulenko and today we will be covering Paris Hilton's advocacy for teens in the industry, a bomb threat and a Barbie-themed barbecue sauce. In entertainment news, Rob will tell you about a cameraman suing a Houston rapper, and finally in sports news, Evan has the latest updates on the NFL draft. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News. Paris Hilton is advocating for troubled teens in California. The reality star says it's helping her to heal from her own traumatic experience at a troubled teen facility. Astoria Apodaca reports on Monday Hilton swore California State Capitol to back a bill that demands transparency for youth treatment facilities.
Today I stand before you not just as Paris Hilton, but as an advocate and survivor of the troubled teen industry.
Paris Hilton at the California State Capitol, testifying on the trauma she faced at 17 when she was sent to a troubled teen industry facility in Utah.
If I tried to tell my parents about the abuse, the staff would immediately rip the phone from my hand, disconnect the call, and subject me to violent physical restraints and solitary confinement.
In 2021, a bill banned California from sending youth out of state for treatment. But now lawmakers from both sides are demanding transparency from the state-licensed facilities.
The bottom line is it doesn't matter who you are, what color your skin is, how much money you have or don't have, that trauma still exists.
Senator Shannon Grove says Senate Bill 1043 will require the Department of Social Services to create a public dashboard that will keep track of all of the restraint and seclusion treatments its facilities use on children. The hotel heiress shedding some tears as she pushes for this to pass in the Golden State. Zoe Scriber, a survivor.
For nearly 5 hours in the pouring rain, 6 adults held down my small body face down in a mud puddle.
For 4 years, Scriber says the seclusion, hard labor, and humiliation by staff while she was in a facility were hidden from the adults in her life, fearing retaliation if she spoke out.
I want children who are experiencing this now and who have experienced it in the past, them to know that I believe them.
The star shining the spotlight on what she calls secrecy behind the closed doors of the California troubled teen industry.
If these facilities are scared of a simple transparency measure, then I think we should ask them, what do they have to hide?
Thanks, Tori. Hilton was inspired to speak out about her own traumas while working on her documentary This is Paris in 2019. Hilton said her work over the past 3 years has successfully changed legislation in 8 states and led to arrest of abusers abroad. Charity founder Steve Chamberlain was fortunate enough to raise over $500,000 to aid those living with disabilities. Reporter Paul Burton has the exclusive.
And every kid should have a chance to live a normal life as an amputee.
And Steve Chamberlain has made it his life's mission to serve and provide as many kids and adults with high-quality prosthetic legs, free of charge, through the nonprofit he founded called 50 Legs. Boston Marathon bombing victims Jeff Bauman and Celeste Corcoran have been recipients of 50 Legs.
When we help somebody, we fly them to Orlando, we pay for their hotel, and we get their legs. Helping some of the survivors in Boston, Celeste, Jeff Bowman.
An amputee himself, on Monday, he, along with his support guide, will be walking the full 26.2-mile Boston Marathon route to help raise money for 50 Legs. To date, he's raised an impressive $500,000 in his marathon fundraiser. For Chamberlain, the funds mean more kids he can help live a normal life.
I get to see these kids' first steps. I get to see adults' first steps. Thank God for BAA to let us be part of this. And this is the first year we're really a charity for the BAA.
Over the past 14 years, 50 Legs has provided more than 800 prosthetic legs to people across the country. Chamberlain says he can't thank his team and his supporters enough for truly making the difference in the lives of so many people.
Man, thanks. Oh man, sorry. I just want to say thanks because without them, we don't get to help these kids.
Kids and adults he'll be thinking about each step he takes on Monday.
When you see somebody walk for the first time with a pair of legs that works for them, and you see their face and their just excitement of like, holy moly, when I'm walking, I'm just gonna focus on not giving up and just doing the best, and thankful that there's so many people donating to us that believe in us, you know?
Thanks, Paul. It's nice to see donation pouring in to help those in need. Prosthetic legs will provide better mobility and bring more awareness to the disability community as a whole. A dozen school districts across the East Bay have received bomb threats. The threats were deemed non-credible by local police departments. At approximately 6 a.m. on Wednesday, April 17th, several school districts in the East Bay, including Antioch, Berkeley, Hayward, Oakland, Pleasanton, and Fremont, among others, received a threatening email. The email stated that there were bombs set to detonate on school campus at 1 p.m. unless all Russian prisoners and captives and persons from all U.S. jails, prisons, and institutions were released. The Oakland Unified School District released a statement saying that they connected with the police and that the threats were not credible. Protesters gathered outside the Tesla factory in Fremont on Monday, April 15th, to call for a ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. Approximately 50 protesters marched from the Warm Springs BART station to the Tesla plant. When protesters arrived, they were met by the Fremont Police Department. Police tried to control the scene by shooting pepper balls at protesters. The protesters stated that they targeted the Tesla plant because of what they call the corporate support for the actions against Palestinians in Gaza. The protest started at approximately 5:30 and lasted for 40 minutes. This occurred on the same day pro-Palestinian protesters blocked the Golden Gate Bridge. We sent our reporters out to see what the people of the campus think about protesting private businesses.
Okay, I really think if people want to protest, especially a large number of people, then I think protests are really good since it tells like the people in higher ups and like possibly the whole world outside of the private sector to know like what they want and that's basically a way of like the form of speech.
In my opinion, I wouldn't be the best person to put my input on what's happening with Gaza right now because I'm not really informed on everything that's happening. So if anything, I would really pass it on to somebody else. But yeah, for me personally, I'm not really informed about Gaza or what's happening.
Didn't know about that. You just brought that up. That's unfortunate. I understand people's gripes with what's going on, and I think more power to them to go after who is basically helping fund the war, it sounds like, so along with a lot of other companies, so I get it.
So I feel that employees should have the right and should feel free to protest because honestly, like with the place that we live now, corporations are taken over, so I think that power should be given back to employees, just to I have worked for unions before, so I'm much pro-union, definitely give the employee as much as they deserve because a lot of employees nowadays are working so hard and so long and they're not getting paid what they deserve or what they are owed even. And yeah, I think that would be my best opinion. Just give the power back to the workers because they deserve it. They're the ones who keep everything moving.
In a totally unrelated story, shortly after the protest, Tesla laid off more than 3,300 employees. And now we will hand it over to Robert Knox, the third for the entertainment news.
Thanks, Diana. A former cameraman for Houston rapper Megan Thee Stallion is accusing her of harassment, creating hostile work environments, as well as violating labor codes. According to a new lawsuit and a 42-page complaint filed Monday in Los Angeles County Superior Court. The former cameraman, Emilio Garcia, claimed that Megan was intimate with a woman in front of him and two other women in a moving vehicle while on tour in Ibiza, Spain in June 2022. Garcia's attorney, Ron Branzino, said in an email to HuffPost, Emilio should have never been put in a position of having been in a vehicle with her while she had sexual relations with other women. The plaintiff claimed Stallion berated and directed her fat-shaming comments towards the plaintiff, such as fat, spit your food out, and you don't need to be eating. The lawsuit says inappropriate is putting it lightly. Exposing this behavior to an employee is definitely illegal, he added. Megan's attorney, Alex Spiro, dismissed his suit as an employee claim for money, with no sexual harassment claim filed and with salacious accusations to attempt to embarrass her. Is this an employee who wants to get justice or an obvious joyless cash grab? A tennis love match is at the heart of a new film starring Bay Area native Zendaya Coleman. David Daniel has a look at the challengers.
You think that tennis is about expressing yourself, doing your thing. You don't know what tennis is.
What is it?
Zendaya is an ex-tennis star caught between friends-turned-rivals in challengers.
I want you to be my coach.
And that's not all either of them want.
This is a game about winning the points that matter. I don't need to play mind games with you.
Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor play the men pursuing her through the years.
The complexity of these characters, I think there's so much to them, there's so much nuance and dimension, and I love them and I hate them, and I'm very conflicted about the decisions that they make and the things they choose to say and do to each other.
Tell me it doesn't matter if I win tomorrow.
No.
O'Connor recalled something Zendaya
this could also
said
be
during
called
filming.
Codependency, the movie. I think that is at the heart of it. That's what we've got. It's like it sort of feels like a very refreshing, modern interpretation of the complexity of relationships.
The trio put in their time on the court to prepare for the film.
Like 12 weeks, learning how to play the game and also developing our bodies to kind of look like and act like professional tennis players.
Just remember, in tennis, love means nothing.
What makes you think I want someone to be in love with me?
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel. Zendaya has graced the screen yet with another successful film. And that's this week's look for entertainment news. I'm Robert Knox III. Back to you, Diana.
Thanks, Rob. 9 months after the release of Barbie, which brought in more than $1.4 billion, became the highest grossing film of 2023. Heinz has partnered with Mattel Incorporation to produce barbecue sauce. The condiment is appropriately pink-hued and emblazoned with a ponytail doll profile. If star Margot Robbie had worked a grill in the movie, the product would have had prime placement. Heinz is launching barbecue, which is discreetly labeled on the back of the squeezable bottle as Heinz Vegan Mayo with barbecue sauce. This year marks the 65th anniversary of Mattel's best-selling toy Barbie. While the doll was an on-screen hit with last summer's Barbie film, this spring, Heinz is giving the pink-hued cultural icon new life with the launch of barbecue. Available now in the United Kingdom and Spain, this special edition sauce aims to capture the hearts of Barbie fans and food enthusiasts alike. Barbie well and truly won the hearts of people all over again last year, and after seeing the reaction, this sauce brought to fans on social media. The barbecue sauce just hit shelves in Tesco stores and will expand to Okeda and other retailers in May. New York-based Swoon is among those that found a way to amalgamate the female-founded brand's mission of delivering refreshing zero-sugar beverages with iconic toy brand. Swoon is a female-founded brand. Its mission and messaging is aligned with the Barbie brand. Swoon brought Barbiecore to the beverage aisle with the limited edition release of Barbie X Swoon Pink Lemonade. Fans have been loving the refreshing summer beverage and fun collaboration so much that about 1 can is sold every 2 to 3 minutes. The Barbie X Swoon Pink Lemonade is currently sold in select Whole Foods market locations. And now we have our top 5 segment with Diana Cabrera.
I'm Diana Cabrera, and today I'll be sharing with you what I think are the top 5 study playlists to help you concentrate and get through a long, hard study session or some simple reading. At number 5, we have some classical music for reading. If you're a fan of Mozart or Chopin, you'll love this relaxing playlist, perfect for staying in on a cold day with a good book, or background music for reading at the park with a beautiful scenery to look up at as a little break. At number 4, we have Gamma Waves for focus, concentration, and memory. This hour-and-a-half long playlist are frequency-based sounds at 40 hertz to help those who need a little extra boost of attentiveness. Don't forget to always give yourself a break, drink some water, walk around to get your brain moving and working even more. For number 3, we have the perfect playlist for those that like cozy ambiance and jazz music. A rainy jazz cafe with slow music for a relaxing work or study session. Don't have time to visit your favorite local cafe? Not to worry, this playlist will transfer you to the same ambiance without moving a step. Number 2, we have a playlist for those in a hurry to get that assignment in before 12 a.m. The classical music for when you're on a deadline will keep your brain to wake up and be more alert, needed for a last-minute essay or intense note-taking. Finally, we have the well-known and loved by many Lo-Fi Girl, a classic study playlist with hip-hop and chill beats, great for a nice relaxing study session or simply laying back to some good background music. This 1 a.m. Lo-Fi study session playlist will leave you feeling refreshed and already relaxed before you're even done. That's it for this week's Top 5. I'm Diana Cabrera. Now back to you, Diana.
Thanks, Diana. A 56-year-old man died after being hit by a vehicle on April 19th. The collision occurred at the intersection of Tennyson Road and Lustin Court. Police were called shortly after. Although emergency medical providers attempt to provide aid to the victims, he was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, who was a 29-year-old woman, cooperated with law enforcement. It's not believed that she was intoxicated during the accident. This marks Hayward's fourth fatal traffic accident of the year. A man and a woman were found dead from gunshot wounds on April 20th. Police were called to the 3000 block of West Winton Avenue for a report of 2 people found dead inside of a vehicle. Witnesses claim to have heard the 2 arguing shortly before gunshots were heard ringing out. This had led the Hayward Police Department to suspect that it may have been a murder-suicide. A 31-year-old woman believed to be the victim was found in the passenger seat, while a 36-year-old man was found in the driver's seat. It's believed that he most likely shot her before taking his own life. This marks the city of Hayward's 3rd homicide of the year. Neither of the deceased have been publicly named. Anyone with information relating to this case can call the assigned detective at 510-293-7176. And now, let's take a look at sports news with our reporter Evan Netta.
Thanks, Diana. The U.S. Justice Department has reached a multi-million-dollar settlement with the sexual assault victims of Larry Nassar. Nassar was convicted of sexually assaulting athletes when he worked as a physician with USA Gymnastics. Some of his victims reached a $380 million settlement with USA Gymnastics and the U.S. Olympic Committee in 2021. More than 100 women and girls also sued the DOJ over the FBI's initial failures in investigating the case. Now, the DOJ will pay those victims a nearly $139 million settlement. The agency previously acknowledged its failures in a scathing Inspector General's report, which found some FBI officials failed to respond to the allegations and made fundamental errors and violated multiple FBI policies during their investigation. Larry Nassar is serving up to 175 years in prison for the abuse. Final preparations are underway for the NFL Draft in Detroit, including the ultimate fan experience. Some of the activities include getting a close-up look at Vince Lombardi's trophy and all 57 Super Bowl rings. Fans will also be able to get autographs from some NFL players. And that's not all. They'll also be able to see what a locker room looks like on game day. The events are free, but fans have to register for them. However, they are first come, first serve, and the NFL believes they may have hit maximum capacity. The fan experience, along with the draft, kicks off on April 25th and ends on April 27th. That's it for this week's Look at Sports News. I'm Evan Netto. Now back to you, Diana.
Thanks, Evan. For all you theater lovers out there, we have some exciting news. The Chabot College Theater Department just wrapped up their own original adaptation of the hit TV show Into the Twilight Zone. We sent our reporter Jasmine Bester to get a behind-the-scenes exclusive on the stage play. Take a look at this.
We are now stepping into the Twilight Zone. Into the Twilight Zone is an original sci-fi main stage production comprised of 3 mini-stage plays. First, we have the Western, which centers its story around Arden Graves, a man consumed by alcoholism and sorrow. The Western is based off of The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 3 from the original series that aired in 1959. Next is USS Callister, which focuses on Barbara Flowers, a woman whose obsession with hacking in virtual realities ultimately leads to her demise. USS Callister is based off of the Netflix hit show Black Mirror from Season 4, Episode 1. And last but not least, Funny Guy. The center of this story is Kingston Creed, who is a struggling comedian desperate to make it big in the entertainment industry. Funny Guy is based on the 2019 reboot of Into the Twilight Zone from Season 1, Episode 1. The cast had a few things to say about their experience in this stage play. Here's a closer look.
What I love most about acting is the fact that I get to basically be someone else for a little while and just be as dramatic as I can.
I'm very excited because it's my first stage play in college ever, and I've been very passionate about acting, but I've never had the opportunity to really do that until now.
My favorite part of the entire show is definitely the costumes that the audience will get to see, because I do believe that the costumes really tie into the storytelling.
My favorite part would be the constant rehearsing with constant amount of people. Like, all these people are great. All my cast members are amazing to talk with, to speak with, and running lines and preparing ourselves because we're all in the same boat.
I'm really excited because we get to show people what we've been working on, what we were able to put together just for them, and they can come in, have a good time.
We all have fun during this process. It was an amazing process. I'm glad I was a part of it.
One of the reasons why I like theater so much is because it is a collaborative art. You need a bunch of different people and a bunch of different hands to create it. So my stage manager, who ended up being my assistant director, all of the designers, sound, lights, costume, all of us come together to create a story, and that's one of the things I love most about theater.
The cast and crew has rehearsed for months to bring this production to life, and all the hard work put into this project has definitely paid off. We are now stepping out of the Twilight Zone.
Thanks, Jasmine, and thank you to everyone who came out to support the cast and crew of the show. For those who were not able to see Into the Twilight Zone in person, there will be opportunity to view the production on our YouTube channel very soon. Here at Chabot College, we bring you to another perspective on the theater play Into the Twilight Zone with a look on the director from our reporter Diana Cabrera.
A night of theater with an extraordinary message from a new generation of directors and actors coming together to create their own spin on what's known and loved as the iconic story, The Twilight Zone. As known and loved by many for years, the eerie television has left quite the impact on many people, even to this day. One of them being Dee Dee Stephens. Dee Dee and her sister grew up watching The Twilight Zone and grew a love for the ambiance and brain-twisting story. Here at Chabot College, theater director Dee Dee Stephens and her outstanding cast create their own twist on The Twilight Zone into The Twilight Zone.
The name of the play is called Into the Twilight Zone, and it's literally it's supposed to stand for actually physically going into the Twilight Zone, and because I just personally am into the Twilight Zone.
When creating the theater play Into the Twilight Zone, Dee Dee said that she looked at the script but didn't like it. Now in the position to create her own perspective on it, her and the cast worked together to create this new and refreshing version of The Twilight Zone. A group of characters trapped in a strange and surreal world, facing bizarre challenges and encountering otherworldly beings. In the unknown dimension, the line between reality and fantasy are blurred, as the characters navigate through a series of mind-bending twists and turns. Human vanishing comedians and a video game coding Barbie, This new sci-fi twist on the iconic TV show brings you laughter, heartfelt moments, and an overall bewildering feeling of questioning reality and one's own mind.
For my audience to take from watching this play is just to have a good time and be entertained, because I love how Twilight Zone comments on society, but also does it in a way that makes you think and also keeps you entertained.
But what is the true meaning behind this enigmatic play? Is it a reflection of our deepest fears and desires, or a warning about the consequences of tampering with forces beyond our control? Dee Dee and her cast brought their own ideas to the script, as every actor was granted the opportunity to create their own lines and dialogue for their characters. This brought a new side to the play and can be seen in the unique lines and diverting performances of the actors. In this unknown dimension, one thing is for certain: this play will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Reporting live from Into the Twilight Zone, I'm Diana Cabrera, signing off.
Thanks, Diana. If you're a fan of the original Twilight Zone, you will love this new take on it from a generation of new artists and creators. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communication Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTA Channel 27 on Comcast for more Chabot TV.